But things quickly deteriorate when they hit an isolated farm track in the middle of nowhere.
If you push the car, I try to jump-start it, okay? You push this better because you have a bit more muscle.
Aye.
All right?
Gaz desperately needs a driving licence for his business, and he was relying on Heike to help him out.
Okay, if you're happy, just push. It's actually not moving.
At this rate, it's going to be a very long time indeed before Gaz is anywhere near ready to take a test.
When I left Cliff College, the students clubbed together and bought me a book, Gottle of Gear, How to Amaze Your Family and Friends as You Learn to be a Ventriloquist. Well, I've only read chapter 1. And it shows, doesn't it?
Down by the harbour, Clarence the frog seems to be gradually winning over the congregation.
My most precious gift is Stephen's hand. What is he on about, this daft frog? Clarence, that's on the...
In fact, despite his love of playing the fool, the Reverend Steve Wilde is an experienced and skillful operator who knows the frog can be very useful in helping to break the ice. Steve's also a deeply compassionate man who's been very affected by what's happened to David and the islanders.
David, thank you. We realise this will be the last time that, as a district, we come to the Scillies and to see you here. And we just want to salute your ministry, brother, and thank you for all that you've done here. And a lot of the people I know who've come across, they've come because you've got a special place in their hearts. And we do pray God's blessing on you, and we shall be praying for you later on in the service, David.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Back at the driving lesson, they've at last got the car restarted. Alas, this brief spell of optimism isn't to last.
I think that's actually worse than before, because this wheel's not even on the ground anymore.
It's not?
Gaz runs a restaurant, the Little Dibble and Grub, down on Porthcressa Beach, with his partner Button. Gaz has been promising Button for ages that he'll get a driving licence. Without it, the restaurant can't function properly.
The problem is now that the season's getting going, so we're very busy. We've just started doing 5 evenings a week, so all of a sudden we're getting through like twice as much stuff. I mean, I just need some things from the wholesalers now. There's no way that I can carry it myself on my bike, and they've finished delivering, so we're scuppered again for the day.
What are you actually going to do then? You have to wait till tomorrow?
Yeah, I don't know.
So does that mean
muddle through?
You might run out of stuff tonight?
Yeah, it's just becoming a bit of a nightmare not being able to transport our own goods. It's something that we've been trying to achieve for a long time. If he can get his licence, then, you know, that's going to make our lives a huge heap easier. So, well, he's got to knuckle down and get himself a driving licence, yeah.
Button probably wouldn't be best pleased then to know about what's actually happening up at the remote farm track.
I'll try once more. Don't push, just leave it. Oh.
And there ends today's lesson.
Well, my
thanks
car
very
is
much,
mine.
That was wonderful. Thank you. Same time next week?
It may only be a small island, but getting back to the restaurant without wheels could take a very long time.
Do I get any kind of discount for this?
Down by the chapel, and things seem to have worked out better than anyone had imagined. The Reverend Steve's plan for his morale-boosting trip to help bind people together and put the past behind them is working. And it's done David the world of good too.
It's been great to have them over today, and it's gone really well. It's great, a sense of encouragement and solidarity, feeling to be a part of something bigger. I think that's important when you live on an island, to realise sometimes that you are part of something bigger and there's a bigger world out there too. It's very easy to become a bit parochial on a small island. And I'm pleased too, because obviously I'm going to be moving on later this summer, and it's nice to have something like this to remember.
This is the last time most of these mainland visitors will see David, and they don't hesitate to give him a rousing send-off. They may not know it, but in fact David has been working on an ambitious plan which will launch him into a future and a world that is a very long way from this.
God be with you till we meet again.
Down on Porthcressa Beach, it's been a busy day at the Dibble and Grub restaurant. Button's been having to hold the fort on her own.
Service, please.
She was expecting Gaz back hours ago.
Where did he go?
A few places, you know, here and there, sort of scenic. We did get quite far. I mean, we got about as far as you can get on St Mary's. I didn't actually hit anything close, but yeah, you know, doddle.
Okay, do some work.
Oh dear. If Gaz is to avoid a personal as well as a professional crisis, he's going to have to knuckle down to the driving pretty smartish. Since splitting up with her fiancé and cancelling her wedding plans, it's not been an easy time for Heike the vet. When she's not at work, Heike's come to rely very much on the support of one loyal companion.
You're a good boy.
Over the last 2 years, Leo, the eccentric bull terrier, has played a huge role in Heike's often lonely life on the islands. From the moment he arrived, he showed he was very much his own dog. Not the most handsome of animals, Leo nonetheless had a captivating personality and left his mark in the minds of islanders wherever he went.
No! No! Out!
Not blessed with a huge amount of intelligence,
Sit! 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 Leo, sit!
Leo also had a bizarre affinity to garden plants.
What is he doing with these leaves?
I think it gives him a good feeling if he feels the leaves swishing along his body.
He's a bit of a weird one, isn't he, this dog? I've never seen a dog do that.
You have never seen many things that the dog isn't doing, really.
He loved life in every respect and was much loved himself, especially by Heike's son, Sammy. Now there's more unexpected and very sad news for the island vet. Leo has suddenly died.
I found him in the back garden, unconscious, and he was bleeding from his mouth, which made me right away think, oh my God, it's rat poison. For the first 2 days, I just cried and cried, you know, and everybody I told, I started crying again. Terrible. Normally I don't cry, because I'm German.
But you did cry?
Yeah. To have, you know, your own dog dying in front of your own eyes. And I'm a veterinary surgeon, you know, like, yeah. And I really thought, oh, God, you know, all the other dogs I have saved with rat poisoning that were brought in, only my own dog I couldn't help anymore.
And how's Sammy been?
Sammy has been very, very upset. He cried every hour, and this morning he went to school in tears.
So you're not having a brilliant time so far this year, are you? One way and another.
Yeah, well, not really.
So, with Leo gone, Heike is now hoping more than ever for the phone to start ringing. If ever there was a moment she needed the distraction of work, then this is it. At the manse, the island's minister, David Easton, has been making some important decisions about what he should be doing with his life.
Obviously, I've got to get myself into the system unexpectedly. And here we are. All the churches that are looking for ministers have had to write a double side of A4 profile about themselves, and I'm ploughing through all these, seeing if there's anything that grabs me, as it were.
And has anything grabbed you?
Well, one or two things have, yes. I mean, I wasn't expecting to move, obviously, but I've decided that I'm going to make this an opportunity to do something different. I want to go somewhere very different from here, and also something that's different from what I've done before. I've spent a lot of my ministry working in rural situations, scattered rural areas, and I think this unexpected opportunity is presented to me to do something quite different. So I'm looking for something radically different, really.
So you're not searching for a remote island community then?
No, I want to go somewhere quite different, really. I'm looking for something challenging, something stimulating, probably farther away rather than nearer, but I don't know.
And a city environment?
Yes, I think it would be certainly challenging and exciting.
Unbeknown to his congregation, David has applied for a rather unusual job on the mainland. If he's to get it, David needs to impress the people who'll be assessing him with some very specialist knowledge. So he's been putting in a lot of homework.
A, ow, ew, oi, ooey, peeber, peeber.
Later, David slips away alone for a long journey and a few days away that could change his life in a way the people of the Isles of Scilly could never have imagined. It's now approaching high season on the islands, and the holiday makers that nearly every islander relies on to make a living seem to be arriving in their droves. And when the sun's out, it all looks pretty idyllic. The trouble is that weeks of almost unbroken sunshine the islands enjoyed in the spring look like they're finally coming to an end. In fact, as the days go by, the weather has become ever more erratic and unpredictable. And this is making life very tough indeed for many islanders. Every morning, 2 vintage buses wait by the harbour to take visitors on a tour of St Mary's. They're run by Glyn Lucas, the island busman. And deciding every day whether to bring out the big open-topped bus is leaving Glyn in a constant dilemma.
It's a bit hit and miss today with the weather, Glyn, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I heard the forecast this morning and I wondered whether I should put this one on or not, but I thought, let's go for it.
You're going to go for it and see what happens?
Yeah. I've done tours on this in the rain before now, and people have gone all the way around with umbrellas up, so... yeah.
I'm just looking over there at that black cloud. It's not looking too good, is it?
Not at the moment, but that's going to miss us.
You reckon?
This lot's going to miss. I don't know about the next lot. So you should have a... you should have an interesting morning, yeah.
As well as a tourist guide, Glyn sees himself as a bit of an entertainer.
This is one of 2 duck ponds we've got on St Mary's. That's where my Christmas dinner comes from.
Today, though, Glyn and his passengers have been seriously caught out by the bizarre weather. Oh dear, this isn't what they had in mind when they booked their holidays to the sun-kissed, subtropical Isles of Scilly.
I got some good news and I got some bad news. The good news is my windscreen wiper works. The bad news is it don't touch the windscreen. So we better stay here till the sun comes out.
Over on the mainland, on the south coast of Cornwall. And from time to time, this is where lorries from all corners of Britain assemble for a strange dawn ritual. These are valuable homing pigeons, and thousands of them are regularly released from here in the southwest to race back to their homes hundreds of miles away in Ireland or the north of England. But recently, the unseasonal storms and torrential rain have been causing havoc with the birds' flight patterns. Back on Scilly, and this morning Heike's had a call that might stretch her veterinary skills to the limit.
No, I'm not a bird specialist. I'm a cow specialist. It's quite a difference.
Heike's on a mercy mission to a rather unusual corner of the island. She's coming to a little sanctuary for racing pigeons blown way off course and ending up, often completely disorientated, on the Isles of Scilly. It's run by Islander Patsy Swanborough. Normally at this time of year, she'd have 1 or 2 birds. Today, she has no less than 17.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's on the point of death, really.
It is. That's a skeleton with feathers.
This one has been brought in overnight in a very poor state.
Have a look.
What sort of condition is this bird in, Heike?
It's in a bad condition. It could die any time, any minute.
It hasn't eaten yet.
Yeah, it's just completely emaciated. So basically, Patsy has to hand feed it.
This is about the thinnest they get before you find them dead, really. In fact, the ones that landed here were survivors because they found land, and the ones that didn't, if they headed
Dropped
off
to the sea.
Yes, and that does happen. Sometimes thousands of them die. Too big. Now that's its first food for I don't know how many days.
Yum, yum, yum.
Did that go down well, Heike? Did it?
Yeah.
You swallowed it quickly. Not a problem there.
Do you think a bit more? Do you think?
Yeah, give him another one.
And why do you do this, Patsy?
Purely because I can't bear to see them suffer, because they just die here.
Later, Heike helps Patsy identify the birds. When they're healthy enough, she'll try to track down the owners and arrange for them to be sent back to the mainland.
Beauty.
But Heike's worried that if the weather continues to be so unpredictable, Patsy could be overwhelmed with birds.
Well, they must be in a good mood still up top deck because they're waving to people as we go by.
Over on the other side of the island, the weather's already changed again. And with the sun now shining really brightly, Glyn the busman's working his socks off to cheer up his cargo of very damp passengers.
Now we're just coming up to my Auntie Angela's tea room on the right-hand side. If any of you want a cream tea or a breakfast, you go in there and see my Auntie Angela. She'll look after you. Lovely bit of crumpet, she is.
In fact, Glyn's gift of the gab has turned a disastrous trip into a triumph.
Thanks very much.
Great trip. Thanks very
Pleasure.
Never forget that one.
Unbeknown to his passengers, though, Glyn's been dreaming of a plan to entertain the crowds in quite a different way. "200 miles to the north of Cornwall, and this is a world about as far removed from the tranquil Isles of Scilly as it's possible to imagine. This is the bustling university town of Aberystwyth on the West Wales coast, and it's a place that's very much in need of a new Methodist minister. The modern chapel in the heart of the community is quite unlike anything on Scilly. The outgoing minister here, the Reverend David Gibson, is showing around a stranger to town.
And this is what we call the Octagon Chapel. Because this is a multicultural sort of town, really, with the university, you find people coming in that surprise you. We had a Hindu gentleman once who came in and sat at the back there, and while the organist was playing a little voluntary at the beginning, he was sat there saying his own prayers. And at the end, he was in tears, and he said that listening to the music had helped him so much with his prayers.
If David Easton gets the job here, he'll be covering a huge area, most of it bilingual, with some pockets of just Welsh speakers.
This is one of our chapels that is basically a Welsh-speaking community. A certain part of worship is done in Welsh, so I know you started already, but you'll be brushing up fast before you come here.
There's no doubt that the minister from Scilly has fallen for the place.
Gosh, this is amazing.
But if he wants this to go any further, he must get the backing of the local congregation.
The church isn't just beautiful locations and interesting buildings. I've got to go off to the main church now to meet some other people. And of course the church is the people, isn't it? I mean, we worship in buildings, we are in locations, but it's the people. The people are the real church.
And these are people you haven't met?
No, I've got to go and meet them and see what they say, but that's part of it, isn't it? Meeting new people, new challenges. They've got to meet me as well. I might be their new challenge. Probably will be.
So a little bit nervous about meeting them?
Well, you're always a bit apprehensive, aren't you, when you meet new people?
David's only been here for a couple of days, but already he's set his heart on the job. If he doesn't get it, it'll be yet another huge disappointment for the Reverend David Easton. In the next programme, all kinds of shenanigans seem to be going on up at the airport. In fact, this is Glyn the busman's big plan to resurrect his 40-year-old rock and roll career.
You're quite the glamour boy there.
Yeah. Yeah, about 2 ton lighter as well.
And the islands gear themselves for the arrival of the man who owns the Isles of Scilly. For one islander in particular, this could really be a day to remember.
So you're going to meet Prince Charles?
I would think so, I hope so.
You've been led to believe?
Yes.
Are you allowed to speak to him?
Probably not.
You just have to...
Actually, I also think he speaks German very, very well.
So you can speak to him in German?
Even better, huh?